I never expected my life to change when I posted that roommate ad 3 months ago. Maya seemed perfect, quiet, clean, and her rent checks always cleared on time. Sure, she had those unusual fox-like ears that twitched when she was nervous, and that impossibly fluffy tail she claimed was a genetic quirk, but in a city where body modifications were trending, I didn't question it. Our apartment had fallen into a comfortable rhythm. I worked from home as a graphic designer, while Maya did something. She was vague about her job, always leaving at odd hours and returning with exotic ingredients I'd never seen in any grocery store. Late night at the office? I'd tease when she came home at 2 a.m. She'd just smile mysteriously, those amber eyes catching the light. Something like that, Ethan. The teasing between us had grown more playful over the weeks. Sometimes I'd wake up to find her curled up on the couch, her tail draped across the cushions like a luxurious blanket. Once I caught her watching me work, and when our eyes met, she didn't look away. The air between us crackled with something unspoken. One evening, I was cooking dinner when she padded into the kitchen, wearing one of my oversized shirts. It barely covered her thighs, and I tried not to stare. "Smells good," she murmured, pressing close to peer over my shoulder. Her warmth radiated against my back, and I felt her tail brush against my leg. Deliberate, teasing. "Maya," I warned, though I didn't move away. "What?" Her voice was innocent, but her fingers trailed along my arm as she reached for a taste. "Just hungry." The tension shattered when my phone rang. As I answered a work call, she laughed softly and retreated to the living room. But the charged moment lingered in the air. Later that week, things shifted. I noticed her taking long calls in hushed tones, her ears flattening whenever I entered the room. She seemed distracted, almost worried. "Everything okay?" I asked one night, finding her staring out the window at the full moon. She turned, and something in her expression made my breath catch. Vulnerability, longing, fear, all swirling in those golden eyes. "Ethan, there's something I need to tell you." She bit her lip, a gesture that was both endearing and devastating. "My family is coming to visit." "That's great. I'd love to meet them." "No, you don't understand." She moved closer, her hands finding mine. Her touch was electric. "This isn't just a casual visit. There are things about me, about us, about what we're becoming." She trailed off, her tail wrapping slightly around my leg in what felt like a protective gesture. "What do you mean, what we're becoming?" She opened her mouth to answer, but headlights suddenly flooded through our window. Her whole body tensed. "They're here," she whispered, "and everything is about to change." The doorbell rang 3 times, a deliberate pattern that made Maya's ears perk up. She squeezed my hands once before releasing them. "Whatever happens," she said softly, "remember that what we have is real." Before I could ask what she meant, she opened the door. 3 figures stood in the hallway, and my brain struggled to process what I was seeing. A tall woman with silver fox ears and 9 tails fanning behind her entered first, her presence commanding immediate respect. Behind her, a younger man with crimson fur and mischievous green eyes grinned at Maya, while a petite woman with platinum blonde hair and delicate white ears observed me with calculating interest. "Daughter," the silver-haired woman said, embracing Maya with surprising warmth. "You've been hiding." "Mother, I can explain." Maya started, but the woman's gaze had already fixed on me. "So, this is the human." She circled me slowly, and I felt like prey being assessed. "Interesting choice." "I'm sorry, what?" I looked between them, my heart pounding. "Maya, what is she talking about?" The red-haired man laughed. "Oh, she hasn't told you?" "Classic Maya. I'm Kaito, her brother." He extended a hand, and when I shook it, I felt an unnatural warmth. "And you, my friend, are bound to our sister." "Bound." The word felt heavy on my tongue. Maya's mother, Yuki, she introduced herself, settled onto our couch as if she owned it. The bond forms when one of our kind shares living space and intimate energy with a human for more than a lunar cycle. The signs are obvious. Her scent on you. Your essence calling to her. The way you can't stop touching each other, even unconsciously. I realized my hand had found Maya's waist, her body pressed against my side. When had that happened? "We're Kitsune," Maya finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Fox spirits, ancient, magical, and very much not human." Her tail wrapped around my wrist, and yes, we're bonded. I didn't mean for it to happen, Ethan. I tried to keep my distance, but you. Akari, the platinum blonde, smiled knowingly. The bond can be broken, of course, before it fully manifests. That's why we're here, to assess if this human is worthy of joining our family, or if we need to sever the connection. Sever it. My arm tightened around Maya protectively. What does that mean? It means, Yuki said calmly, you would forget Maya ever existed. She would return to our realm, and you would continue your mundane human life none the wiser. Maya's fingers dug into my shirt. "I won't let them erase you," she whispered fiercely. "I'll fight them if I have to." "Then prove he's worthy," Kaido challenged, his playful demeanor shifting to something serious. "Show us this bond is real, not just convenience and attraction." Yuki's eyes gleamed. "You have 3 days. Convince us, or we take her home." That night, sleep was impossible. Maya and I lay in my room. Our room now, I supposed, staring at the ceiling. Her family had taken over the living room, their presence filling the apartment with an otherworldly energy. "Tell me everything," I said softly. She turned onto her side, her tail draping across my legs. In the moonlight, filtering through the curtains, she looked ethereal, almost glowing. Kitsune live for centuries. We exist between worlds, human and spirit. The more tails we have, the more powerful we are. She gestured to her single tail. "I'm young by our standards, only 93 years old." I choked. 93. A small smile played on her lips. Aged differently than humans. But when I saw your roommate, something called to me. I thought I could just observe human life, for a while stay detached. Her hand found mine in the darkness. Then you made me laugh. You treated me like a person, not a curiosity. You never pushed when I was being mysterious, but you were always there when I needed someone. The bond, I prompted, it forms when a kitsune and a human develop a deep connection, emotional, physical, spiritual. Once complete, we're linked. I feel what you feel. Your joy becomes mine, your pain. She shuddered. Breaking it would hurt us both, but the damage would be permanent for me. I'd never be able to bond again. I pulled her closer, feeling the rapid beat of her heart against my chest. Then we don't let them break it. She kissed me then, desperate, claiming real. Her lips tasted like moonlight and wild things, and when she pulled back, her eyes were luminous with unshed tears. The trials will test us. They'll try to find weaknesses in what we feel. Let them try. The next morning, Yuki's first test was deceptively simple. She placed 2 bowls before us, one filled with a shimmering liquid, the other with ordinary water. The truth elixir, she explained. Drink and answer 3 questions with complete honesty. Refuse and you forfeit. Maya and I drank without hesitation. The liquid burned going down, and suddenly I felt hyper-aware of every sensation. Maya's presence beside me, the weight of 3 pairs of eyes watching us. "Ethan," Yuki began, "what do you truly want for my daughter?" The answer spilled out before I could filter it. Everything. Her laughter, her secrets, her future. I want her here when I wake up and in my arms when I sleep. I want to learn about her world and show her mine. I want her to choose me every day the way I choose her. Akari asked Maya next, "Do you love him, or do you love the escape he represents?" Maya's voice was steady, certain. "I love him. His kindness, his creativity, the way he sees beauty in ordinary things. He makes me want to be better, to stay, to build something lasting." Kaido grinned. "One more question for both of you. Would you sacrifice your world for each other?" "Yes," we answered simultaneously. The truth elixir's effects lingered, creating a vulnerability between Maya and me that felt both terrifying and intoxicating. That afternoon, while her family was out assessing the human realm, we found ourselves alone. Second trial is tonight. Maya said, sitting on the edge of my bed. She'd changed into a silk robe that did little to hide her curves, and I couldn't tear my eyes away. Mother will test our physical connection. What does that mean? She stood, moving toward me with predatory grace. It means she'll know if our intimacy is just lust or something deeper. Her fingers traced the collar of my shirt. We need to be completely synchronized, mind, body, spirit. Maya, my voice came out rough. I know you've wanted this, she whispered, pressing against me. I feel it through the bond. Every time you watch me, every accidental touch that lingers too long. I want it too, Ethan. I've wanted it since the first week. When I kissed her, it wasn't gentle. 3 months of tension, of dancing around each other, of pretending we were just roommates, it all shattered. Her robe pulled at her feet, and my hands mapped the curves I'd only imagined. Her skin was impossibly soft, impossibly warm. The bond responds to this, she gasped as I traced kisses down her neck. It deepens with every touch, every moment of pleasure we share. We tumbled onto the bed, and she was above me, her hair creating a curtain around us, her tail wrapped around my thigh as she moved, and I felt something more than physical sensation. It was like our very souls were touching, merging. Can you feel me? She asked, her voice breathless. Really feel me? I could. Her emotions flooded through me, love, desire, fear of losing this, determination to fight for us. And somehow, I knew she felt mine too. Hours later, wrapped in tangled sheets with her head on my chest, she traced patterns on my skin. That was the bond completing, she murmured. There's no going back now. We're truly connected. I should have been scared. Instead, I felt whole. That evening, Yuki's eyes knew immediately what had happened. She studied us as we sat together on the couch, my arm around Maya, her tail draped over my lap. The bond is strong, Yuki acknowledged, but strength isn't everything. Kaido, your test. Maya's brother stood, his expression unusually serious. A bonded kitsune shares their lifespan with their human partner. Ethan would live for centuries, aging slowly, watching the world change beyond recognition. Everyone you know now would die while you're still young. He paused. Knowing this, truly understanding it, do you still choose this bond? The weight of immortality pressed down on me. My parents, my friends, the familiar world, all temporary now. I looked at Maya, found her watching me with tears in her eyes. I choose her, I said, however long we have. The final trial came at midnight. Yuki led us to the apartment rooftop where the full moon hung heavy and silver. The 3 kitsune had shed their casual clothes for traditional garments that seemed to shimmer with inner light. This is the trial of truth, Yuki announced. You will each face your deepest fear regarding this bond. Overcome it, and you have our blessing. Fail, and the bond severs at dawn. She touched my forehead, and suddenly I was somewhere else. I stood in our apartment, but it was wrong. Dust covered everything. Maya sat on the couch, her appearance unchanged, but she stared at a wall of photographs, me aging in each picture, 30s, 40s, 50s, until the final photo showed an elderly man I barely recognized. This is what happens if the bond fails, a voice whispered. You grow old in what feels like moments to her. She'll watch you deteriorate, helpless to stop it. No, I said firmly. This isn't our future. How can you be sure? Because we chose each other. Because love isn't about time, it's about depth. The illusion shattered. When I opened my eyes, Maya was gasping, emerging from her own trial. She immediately reached for me, her whole body shaking. What did you see? I asked. You, she whispered. You realized what you'd given up for me, your normal life, growing old, naturally having human children. You looked at me with regret, and I couldn't bear it. I cupped her face, forcing her to meet my eyes. Never. Do you hear me? Never. Yuki watched us with an expression I couldn't read. Then, slowly, she smiled, the first genuine smile I'd seen from her. You've passed, she said simply. All 3 trials. The bond is recognized. Akari stepped forward, touching both our foreheads. Warmth flooded through me, and I felt the bond strengthen, solidify into something unbreakable. "Welcome to the family, Ethan," Kaido said, clapping my shoulder. "Hope you're ready for very loud family reunions every few decades." As her family prepared to leave the next morning, Yuki pulled me aside. "Love her well," she said quietly. "My daughter has always been different from us, curious about humans, gentle in ways our kind rarely are. She needs someone who sees that, who cherishes it." "I do, I promised." "I know. That's why I'm trusting you with her." After they left, Maya and I stood in our apartment, truly ours now. She looked up at me, her ears twitching nervously. "So," she said, "we're really doing this? Centuries together? Magic and mystery and—" I kissed her, cutting off her worried rambling. "We're really doing this." Her tail wrapped around me as she laughed, the sound pure joy. "Then I should probably teach you about Kitsune magic and the spirit realm. And, oh, there's this thing with the winter solstice we celebrate. One thing at a time," I said, pulling her close. "We have forever, remember?" "Forever," she echoed, and it sounded like a promise.